Okay, I pulled the new girl out. Just got home last night. Didn't have time to really look at it, but it does start and run. And let's take a look at it now. Well, I can't even see what kind of battery this is. There's so much crud on it. And it's pretty apparent not much of anything's ever really been done in here. It's just as cruddy as the last one I picked up, but this one has the motor in it and it starts and runs. But it has to run kind of with the choke on, choke off kind of thing going on, so definitely the carb needs to be cleaned out. But I'm not going to clean it out right away because I got an event coming up this weekend and I want to take it. Here's the other guy back here. I just sort of look at the difference between the two. And one thing I think I got to scoop off of this one here is the prime or secondary, because I think that's like all I'm going to scoop off of here. But we'll take a look at this one. Give it a little spin on the inside. Whoa, look at that. Alright, it's missing half its shoe. And yet, Buddy says he's been driving this thing for... I'll spin it around a bit more. Here's the other half. So that's how much of it's missing out of there. And Buddy says he's been riding this for years like that. Well, I'm not going to do that. I did drive it on the trailer, drive it off the trailer, and park it and stuff like that, and you would never even know by driving it. But now that I do know, I'm changing them out. So this brake caliper comes off, the brake cable comes off, and then I believe maybe this housing, this bracket might come off, probably does. And then down in here, this side of the disc, the brake rotor is bolts. I think there's 4 bolts come off, and then the whole thing comes off as an assembly. But first I gotta figure out how to get the belt off. Shouldn't be too hard. I'm gonna do that now. Oh yeah, but I wanted to check out, I rubbed the, he didn't even know this was like a Harley Davidson. He didn't know anything about it. Well, I mean, I think he knew it's a Harley, but he didn't know what year it was. So I rubbed my finger on the part. It tells you H8 1978, right? There's probably more to read, but that's nobody has probably looked at this since it came out of the factory. And interesting enough, where is that? It still has the sales sticker on the outside of the paint, so I know that this is the original paint. And it's not great. It's not great. But it's kind of cool that it's all original. Let's see what else I can get off here. You know what? Let's spray this down first. 3B means 3-wheel golf cart. And then there's more, but I'll get into that after. Don't really need to decipher everything right now. I'm just sort of looking it over. Yeah. At least this one came with a muffler on it. The last one, Buddy neglected to tell me there was no muffler until I was getting everything organized at home, laying out the parts. And that is an expensive piece. I think I looked it up online. It's like $400 or something. So it looks like everything is, I'm sure everything's original. I don't think this has ever been touched. But forward and reverse works. I just got to clean that car, but I wanted to go over it with the video camera first here just to show everybody what a completely original one looks like with all its pieces on. I actually have the manual. What a piece of crap manual I got though. All the pictures in it, you know, it's a downloadable PDF one, or it came in a CD. And all the pictures in it are black and white. Like, he didn't even use, when he scanned the manual, but he just used the black and white mode. He didn't use the gray shade mode. So you can't see much of anything. It's just useless. I'll wait and get an actual manual. It looks like these, oh, you know what, these brakes work because I panic jammed on them and skidded, so, but they're way out of adjustment. Probably there's almost no pad left on this one over here, so these are these are the same as Argo brakes, it looks like, and I'm familiar with those, so I'll just get some new brakes from the Argo dealer. And I'm gonna get some spray on here because I gotta take that off. I just wanted to film it first so everybody could, I didn't want to show anything done to it yet until I videotape or record everything. And this one actually has usable gas in it, and that last one I opened up the gas cap and it was just like turpentine. But a good cleaning under here, a good pressure wash, and we'll see what it looks like after I do that. Alright, I got scraping around here on this on these brake pads. Now, take a look at this and see what I found. I thought that there was no brake pad at all left on this one, but when I get scraping down in there, that is brake pad. That's metal, you can hear it. That's metal, that's pad. So, it's like new. Now, let's go over to this other side. Metal, metal, and a little thin bit of brake pad in there. So, you know why? Design flaw. This whole rig sits on an angle, so gravity is actually pulling down on this brake shoe, the high one I'll call it, and it's just rubbing on the disc its whole life. It just rubs on the disc just from gravity, while the other one falls away from it. This one falls towards it. No pressure on it or nothing, and it just wore it out. Okay, this brake assembly was really out of adjustment in here. I doubt it's ever been adjusted, but I'm going to do that when I reassemble everything. Alright, I'm just going to film all the bits and pieces down in these this brake assembly in case it sort of falls apart on me and I forget how it goes back together. I think I did a little more work than I needed to. The reason I mean, this whole assembly has to come off anyways. I can't get the brakes off, I don't believe, until I remove this whole assembly, secondary belt, everything. But I wanted to do the brake, like loosen all the bolts and stuff while it's attached to the rear end housing, just so it has something solid to hang on to while I'm turning the wrenches. But I think I got everything loose now. I just removed the brake cable attachment, but there's three bolts around the housing I gotta take off now. I'll 1/2 inch, and I don't think they're going to be too tight, but I do have a bar if I need it. And okay, let me see. Now there's a little lip on this bracket here catching the shoe, but now I've moved it back. These should come out. They do. Right on. Clean them all up. I can get to that last bolt now. Down in here. Although, just realized, probably don't need to. You know what? With the brakes out of the way, I can get to those 4 bolts that hold on the primary and the brake rotor. Although, it would have been nice to have left all the brakes on, but they had to come off. So, I'll clean up this bracket too. It's only one more bolt. And I'll just clean it with a brush right here. I won't take it to the parts cleaning tank. Alright, here's a before and after shot of the brake shoes. You'll see they're pretty grungy coming off. Every single part on the machine is going to be that grungy. But after going through the parts washer, and then I decided to go ahead and get those grooves all cleaned out in the sandblaster, and then I polished the edges and little bits that I could on the wire wheel. Alright, so it's going to be the only shiny bits on this thing when they go back in. Off with the broken, on with the not broken. Okay, there's a secondary pulley changed, secondary clutch, and you can see I polished up the brakes and have them all adjusted. Yeah, there's an adjusting bolt here. Basically, when it's just holding, it's not screwed into this side, it's just a stopper. And the idea is to make the two brake shoes parallel, so the same distance up here as down here. So they do ride loose, I mean, a little bit, and the idea is, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but there's a bent tab connected to the brake cable. The bent tab rides on little ball bearings, and when it's pulled, it twists. It twists and is held in place by a nut here, and when it twists, it pushes the shoes together, basically. Yeah. Kind of hard to explain, but I think if you see the shape of that metal tab, just imagine that twisting, and then there's two ball bearings, one on each side of the shaft, so it's going to squeeze the two shoes together on the disc, which is bolted to the rear end house, to the rear differential, and also to the secondary clutch I just put in. So let's give this a try. So I decided that there's some better parts in the other machine, in the box that came with the other machine. So I scooped nice new, not nice new, but the nice clean air breather. And the filter on this one was like new. The filter on the other one was crap, but the housing on the other one was really nice, much better. Yeah, it's a little dirty still, but the other one's all rusty. This one's not rusty. So I swapped those. Everything, you know what? I would love to go through this thing, every bitty part, and clean everything up, just like those brake shoes. I didn't even clean up the new secondary too much. I blew all the crud out with air, but I didn't put it in the sandblaster and get it all cleaned up. I didn't take it apart. I did throw a little oil in it to make it run a little smoother on the rollers, and sprayed the springs with WD-40 down in there, but hell yeah. Now the next thing I got to do, but I don't have time. I'm just kind of running it with the choke on, choke off kind of scenario, but I got to get deep down in there. There's the carburetor down there under the starter. I got to get that off and get it cleaned out, because there's something blocking fuel from flowing freely. So I get up to speed and it starts coughing out. Put the choke on, it goes back up to speed, shut the choke off, it's going, but then it starts coughing out. So definitely there's a obstruction in the fuel system. I already took the line off the filter here and blew air back in. I'm not sure if there's like a screen in there. Hopefully I didn't blow it off. But I gently blew air through that line and just had the cap off and watched the air bubbles percolating in there. So I know there was air flowing, or fuel flowing, and the glass filter housing seemed to be splashing fuel around plenty in there. But you know, when I get going down the road at speed, I can't see it. I don't know if the filter bowl is going empty, or if the carb itself is just running itself dry. I don't even know how this carb works. Oh, I got one in a bag in there, a spare one. In fact, I might put that on rather than clean this one, but not today. I got to get back to work and make money, so I can afford stuff like this. This one I don't mind telling you. I got online. It was for sale, advertised as older golf cart, needs TLC, not as Harley Davidson golf cart, which I think might have tweaked a lot of interest, and it might have been gone pretty quick. This one I got running for $700, and you know what? That's not bad, I don't think. In Canada, that's not bad. You know, American, that's probably what, I don't know, 14 bucks. But you know, so I got this one now. I suppose I'm gonna parts machine. Oh God, it's just that it could be put back together. The motor's here, it's in pieces, and there's spare cylinders and heads and different things, another piston for it. I'm just not sure that I'm gonna be enthusiastic. I've already pilfered it for a couple of parts.